So, Wuthering Waves got robbed. Well, kind of. I don't really know how to explain this one, but it's a very interesting situation that's been going on involving the Gamescom awards, which obviously Wuthering Waves have not been involved in this time. And it seems pretty interesting because it seems like there's some games in there which has some people pretty angry at the fact of, they've left out a ton of really great games that have been, kind of absolutely killing it over on mobile over the past year. Now, if you don't know, Gamescom have an award show every single time. Gamescom is a big like convention type thing, whatever you call it, event that takes place, I think, over in Europe. And it's a big thing, and they often hold these awards where essentially they have these different categories, and you can see already a lot of them have been very biased towards some new titles, including obviously Borderlands 4. I think Resident Evil Requiem is a new one as well, and it seems like they like to include a lot of titles that haven't even been released yet for an award show. And I think a lot of people have been pretty mad about this because it's an interesting choice to kind of include new titles that haven't even come out yet. And let's just scroll down all the way down to the one that we care about, which is Best Mobile Game, which is one that a lot of people have been kind of arguing over, especially due to the fact of Wuthering Waves not being included in here. Now, again, I think Dungeon Crawler, from what I've seen, I've never heard of the game, but I don't know if the game is actually out, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But Genshin Impact, obviously, controversial opinion, I think that should be there. I mean, I have no problem with that being there. It is a current mobile game, and it's been killing it still, regardless of what a lot of people say. That's fine. Love and Deepspace as well. They have been absolutely killing it, as we've seen on the revenue charts and stuff. So again, they also deserve to be there. And Summon of the Lake, I don't really know either. But we got 3 gacha games here, and the one that a lot of people are talking about is Arknights EndField, because they've been nominated for Best Mobile Game. But the game's not even out yet. So a lot of people are very confused as to why this is the case. EndField is literally in beta testing, or it has been in beta testing, and we don't even have a release date yet. Now, obviously, a lot of you guys have probably picked up already that, it's probably due to the fact that EndField is going to get a release date, maybe a new trailer or something like that at Gamescom, and it's going to be a very popular thing. But I do think it is very, very, not scummy, but just very weird how they've decided to actually add them to the nominees for Best Mobile Game when the mobile game isn't even out yet. Even if you look back at Arknights EndField, for example, like the beta testing, a lot of the beta testing was mainly done over on PC. There wasn't really a beta test over here on mobile. A lot of it was mainly done over on CN. They did do a mobile test, but again, a lot of it was catered towards PC gaming as well, which I think was very interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, Arknights EndField is a great game. I really loved a lot of the mechanics whenever I played the beta, and I can't wait for it to come out. But I don't think it does deserve to be on the nominees for the Best Mobile Game, because how can something be the best mobile game whenever it's not even out yet? And that's obviously where a lot of Wuthering Waves comes in, because Wuthering Waves is a game that has been killing it on mobile and also other platforms as well for the last year, and they've been doing a really, really good job bringing over a lot of new players and things like that, and doing really great events, really great updates. And obviously I think they would be the perfect fit to fit in there instead of a game that isn't even out at the moment. Now, obviously these other ones I'm not disputing at all. I'm not saying like, oh, Wuthering Waves should be there instead of Genshin Impact. Screw Genshin Impact Day. No, obviously they do deserve to be there in their own respects. But I think EndField, a game that isn't even out yet, doesn't deserve to be in there just yet. Now, obviously, if you want to add them into the 2026 awards, then go ahead, because obviously the game should be out by then. But I think adding them into the 2025 awards, where, obviously you've got other games like Wuthering Waves, and not just Wuthering Waves as well, any other game, any other mobile game that's also been popping off over this amount of time should have taken the place of Arknights EndField. But obviously, as me being a Wuthering Waves creator, I'm a little bit biased in terms of who I wanted to be in there. And honestly, I do think Wuthering Waves could have fit pretty well into this category. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that's happened. And obviously, Genshin Universe has been talking about this, saying Genshin Impact has been nominated for the Best Mobile Game at Gamescom 2025. So the voting period begins on August 20th. So it is Dungeon Crawler good. I said hopefully Genshin wins so we can get some free Primo Gems. It's because of things like this I will always have time. It's things like this that will always have time-gated domain materials. I said we need to bot to vote. I said, and that means we'll receive rewards. Well, potentially, sometimes they don't. But I say, sure. but why Genshin Impact again when that was back in 2020? It should be replaced with WuWa or a different gacha game, which obviously they got 4 likes and 7 replies, which is, oh god, I don't even want to look at those replies. But yeah, I mean, I slightly agree, but at the same time, I think Genshin Impact deserves to be there more than, for example, like Arknights EndField, which isn't even out yet. You know, I think Genshin Impact obviously is an established game, and they never actually say, for example, like there is any kind of like time constraint. So like obviously a game can be older and still be featured in that kind of category. So I don't think that's a problem. I think Genshin Impact, you know, it does deserve to be there if that is the case. People are saying like, what is EndField? Has EndField been released on mobile yet? You know, saying imagine a game in CBT not currently with no release date announced is in the nominees but not WuWa. I'm not even a WuWa player, but this is so weird, you know? This is exactly what we're saying, you know? Obviously, a lot of you guys will go like, oh yeah, you know, you're a Wuthering Waves player, of course you want Wuthering Waves to be in there. But even like people like this who aren't a Wuthering Waves player are saying this is so weird, you know? Someone's saying probably because it's bad on mobile. But again, I don't think it's even that bad on mobile. I mean, I've played it on mobile before and it's run fine for me. And there's a lot of people that actually play Wuthering Waves on mobile. I mean, you know, you've seen the revenue charts, right? You know, all of that revenue is entirely from mobile. So there are people playing the game and it is obviously playable if there is people bringing in like, what was it, like 30 million or something last month or whatever. You know, it's crazy amounts of money. So obviously there are people still playing on mobile, you know, saying, why do you think WuWa deserves to get nominated? The game is pretty mid and most of the, oh my god, bro. And most of the hype was artificially boosted by CCs. How can the hype be artificially boosted by CCs? Bro, the hype comes from the CCs. You know, saying it was artificially boosted by the CCs is crazy. It's because it actually has hype behind it. That's the reason why CCs are covering it, and that's the reason why it's getting more hyped up. Okay, bro. But yeah, obviously they're saying the game's mid and stuff, which I'm assuming this is just a Hoyoverse player. I don't know. The mid, I'm a Genshin player, a ZZZ player too, but I know that WuWa players hate us, but WuWa is clearly not mid. It's a super cool game with gorgeous graphics, a good story, good character design. Where did you get that it was mid? Which obviously, yeah, is crazy. Sakura did not sign up for Gamescom, so no nomination, which could actually be a kind of, that honestly could be a very valid answer. Maybe Kuro games were not included in the Gamescom kind of list, so they can't get nominated. But I do think it's pretty ridiculous that they literally just add games that, you know, are only the ones that are, you know, interacting with them. Because again, I don't know, I just find that a little bit weird. Obviously, so said bad game don't get nominated. It's simple. WuWa is an objectively bad mobile game and PC game. Brother, okay. I love how like all of these people try to pretend that WuWa is a bad game. You know, it's not a bad game. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I totally understand if you're like full on Hoyo shield and you want to say that, yeah, WuWa's good, but I prefer Genshin Impact, you know, that's totally fine. But bro, disingenuously saying it's objectively bad is absolutely crazy to me. So again, I see a lot of people are pretty delusional. You're saying, okay, I understand the 4 or 5 picks, but why the heck is Arknights EndField there? The game isn't even out yet. Obviously, yeah, people replying to that saying, why is Genshin in there? Which obviously, again, I have no problem with Genshin being in there. So the nominated games are all based on the games that will appear during the conference. So again, obviously, I think that kind of solves the issue here. But I do honestly think that they should open it up to more games as well, because you end up having this kind of problem where the awards just don't really make any sense because you try to fill it up with whatever you possibly can. And I mean, it's just kind of weird because why on earth are we voting for a non-released game as best mobile game? We don't know if it's best mobile game. There's nothing to judge it on. And I think that maybe, you know, if they had another mobile game that was, you know, maybe at Gamescom, then surely that should be the one in there instead of kind of Arknights EndField. But I get they kind of want to promote it for the trailer and stuff. I don't know, I just thought it was very weird and it was a very interesting situation. Obviously that gives us a little bit of clarity though on why it is exactly like that. But I do think at the end of the day, they should probably just include some from outside of Gamescom, else it's just gonna look really bad. It just looks like a very useless kind of award show, you know. It's not a very yes, it's just not a very prominent award show. If you're only doing it based off the ones that show up at your thing, it's not really the best. It's the best out of the games that you have there, but it really seems like, you know, they are clutching at straws to make that category. You know, you got games like Genshin Impact, which is over 5 years old, you know, in there, as well as games that haven't even released. I mean, there obviously isn't enough mobile games to create this category, so they just went, oh, just stuff, a ton of random stuff that are people like just showing up. I don't know, just add anything in there, which I think obviously is very, very interesting. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I think it's a very interesting situation that has been going on. And yeah, go to Gamescom, use my code cartethyia, get 10% off again. They got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So, see ya.